and I just recently did a video on food and how, you know, so many of us are addicted to foods that aren't necessarily, or I should say ingredients, the sugar and starches that aren't healthy for us. So I decided to just start talking about some healthy options. And my son, he has 2 breaks when he works at Amazon. And so we've decided to go from the PBJs and the Hot Pockets to, I got this at Walmart. It's an insulated food container. And so it says double vacuum sealed for cold or hot foods. Now, I'm probably going to use this pretty much for hot foods. The key is before you open it, especially if it's hot, you're going to have to press that button, that red button there, to release any of the steam pressure. It's sort of like a pressure cooker. So you want to release that. If any of you are old enough to remember what pressure cookers were, if you open them before releasing the steam all out of it, it could be a really bad experience. So you can press that, and then I like that inside. I'm going to open it up here. Are you showing?
Yes.
Okay. It has this divider, so I can actually put, say, a vegetable and a meat here on opposite sides. So we're going to try that and see how that works out. So, but today I wanted to go over a recipe. I actually saw it online, but I'm going to make a modification to it, a couple of modifications, and see how it goes. I actually make my own vanilla as well, which is really easy to do. You can just get vanilla beans, and you can order them on Amazon, and you scrape out the beans inside. You put them, and I put them here. I'll show you. I just used an old no-waste container, and it says here Breeze Homemade Vanilla. I put it in a dark container. I think there's a reason that that's important. I can't remember, but I believe that's a key. So I put the beans in the actual vanilla bean inside the jars. You want to make sure that you cover it fully. I use just the cheapest vodka that I could find. You're going to shake it up, you know, like every, like once a month, go and shake it up. And I leave it in there for at least like 6 months. And then it turns out really well. So, and then I put it into these little jars, and I can give it as gifts or whatnot, because real vanilla extract has gotten kind of costly. So anyhow, so what I saw on online, it was using bananas and instant oats, rolled oats, and what was the other ingredient? Oh, chocolate chips. But I know Christian really liked it. I gave him an option. I said, do you want the chocolate chips or do you want the butterscotch chips? So he chose the butterscotch. So we're going to try making the first one with the butterscotch here. So, hey, okay, so I had to get a couple things together here. So first we're going to use these bananas, and I know that my son, he always hates when they have the brown spots on. But the truth about bananas is, especially, we make these wonderful smoothies, which I'll go over that another day. But bananas get sweeter as you get more of the brown spots. So the browner they are, the sweeter they're going to get. I made a smoothie once, and it was with just a banana that didn't have time to really ripen, and it just did not have that sweetness to it. Now, in terms of if you are a diabetic, such as my mom, you want to be careful how much bananas you eat. Now, bananas do have fiber in them, but they do have a lot of carbs and sugar. So the good thing about, since they have the fiber, it slows the process of, you know, the potential for having a sugar spike, from what I've read. So, but still, just be mindful, and you know, you wouldn't want to overeat these. I'd say, you know, probably 1 or 2 cookies would be great. These are like breakfast cookies. So I could not find sugar-free. And here's the other thing with sugar-free. You have to be so careful, because there are so many sugar-free products that I would not use, like sucralose and the things typically in diet sodas. Yeah, I might as well, aspartame, whatever, I might as well be eating sugar. That would be better for me, in my opinion. So I try to use erythritol. It's a alcohol from sugar that, from what I've read, it actually is good for your glycemic index. These here made by Lily's, I like them. They do have the erythritol. They do also say that they have, I never know how to say this, if it's stevia or stevia. They have some of that in it as well. I've read that stevia is not really bad for you either. So anyhow, so I'm going to take, I believe I had 2 bananas. And I'm just going to get a fork and smash them up. Good. Just make these really smash up really well. Okay, so I have mashed up my bananas. Now I'm going to add 1 cup of the quick oats. They are the ones that are probably the least good for you if you were going to eat oatmeal in the morning. Those are the ones you can find in the instant packages loaded with the sugar, brown sugar, or whatever, you know, and make them taste great, but not so great for you. You know, sometimes you think, oh, I'm eating oatmeal, I'm eating something really good for me. Maybe not necessarily so. If I do eat oats, it's steel oats. I just heard from somebody that oats have, I believe it's lectins in them, and it's more research that I have to do. Food is science, it really is, and I'm constantly just trying to learn more and more. And so somebody told me that to get the lectins out, you can cook the oatmeal in a pressure cooker, and that removes the lectins. I'll do some research on that and get back with you if I find out, you know, after doing some research that is true. But that's what I've heard. So then I take a half a cup of the old-fashioned, these are organic old-fashioned oats, and you see they're bigger, they're not as processed. The more processed the food is, from what I've learned, the worse it is for you. So anyhow, I'm going to add that into it, and I'm going to actually, then I'm going to add a teaspoon of my homemade vanilla in here, which is a lot less expensive than, same thing, but less expensive. If you can see, it has a nice, can you show, it has a nice brown color to it, and it smells from vanilla really nice. So I'll pour that in there. And then, so since I can't buy, unfortunately, these chips and mini chips, I used a food processor that a girlfriend gave me, oh my gosh, more years ago than I will say. And I still use it every day. God bless her. I'm so thankful for her letting me have that. So I'm going to add in, I just sort of ran them through the food processor a little bit to break them up so they're just not so big. I'm going to put some in here. And, you know, I would say this is 7 ounces. And I maybe will use a third of that bag because these are kind of expensive. They're more expensive. The downside to eating healthy, the only downside, if you can say, is it is more costly. It's going to cost you more, but cost you more in the short run, maybe not in the long run, in terms of health and all the expenses you're going to be paying then. So if you can make things from scratch, I have a sister who has always made things pretty much from scratch, and she's always been so tremendously physically fit, and she eats all kinds of food, so it must work. Anyhow, so I'm gonna add the rest of these in here. Let me get them all. They smell really good. I love the butter that smell. Good choice. So my son who's videotaping this, so I'm going to let this sit now a little bit so that the moisture really gets into the oatmeal. I'm going to put some saran wrap over it and just let it sit here probably for about 30 minutes or so. And then I will come back and we will put these in the oven. You're going to put them in the oven at 335 degrees or anywhere between, I do 335 because I have a convection oven. Those are the ovens that have the fan. If you have a fan in the back of your oven, it's a convection oven. And things tend to cook faster, so you can either cook them for a shorter period of time, or I lower the temperature by 15 degrees. That seems to work really well. So, you know, about 12 to 15 minutes, you want to check it then. You're going to make these into, you know, just a regular cookie size. Don't make them too big. And then check if they're golden on the top. And these are great, should be great for breakfast. Oh, I always do this. Forgot to add an ingredient in. The way that I'm going to make these a little bit different is I love peanut butter. And so I'm going to add some peanut butter to it. And you can get, when you go in some of the grocery stores, they have the grinders and you can get the nuts right there. And you have to make sure when you get the nuts, you don't get the nuts with everything, you know, a bunch of stuff added into them already. So just get the peanuts, you grind them up there and you're good to go. So I'm going to take a 1/4 cup of peanut butter because I love it so much. In a way, I'm kind of I will confess that I really love the taste of Cliff Bars, but for me, it's just too much sugar. I try to stay away from sugar, so I'm trying to, in some ways, mimic one of their bars that they have that tastes wonderful, but not everything that tastes wonderful is good for you. And I just try to learn ways of making things that will taste just as good, but won't be affecting my health or the health of people that, you know, I love and care about. So anyhow, so I added in the peanut butter now, and we're going to let this sit for 30 minutes, and then I'll be back and we'll put these in the oven and see how they taste. Alrighty. Okay, so now I have let this sit for probably about 30 minutes so that the oats would absorb the banana into them. And so I have the, let's see if I can remember what I have in here. 2 bananas, 1.5 cups of oats, 1 cup being the regular oats, or no, the quick oats, I'm sorry, 1 cup being quick oats, and then 1/2 cup being old-fashioned, you know, regular rolled oats. Unfortunately, I can't use steel oats for these, which is the best cut of the oats. And then I took a 1/4 cup of peanut butter and about 1/3 of a package here. This is 7 ounces of butterscotch flavored baking chips. You can use whatever flavor you like. This was a flavor that my son picked out. They have semi-sweet, they have salty caramel, which would have been my preference. And they use erythritol and stevia instead of sugar. So I use those because I avoid sugar at all possible, unless it's natural sugar, like, you know, in the bananas. And then I made some homemade vanilla extract. I added a teaspoon of it to it. I ground up using a little food processor that a girlfriend gave me years ago, the chips, because they don't come in the mini chips, and just otherwise it's just the chip sizes are too large. So my hands are a little bit messy here. I'm going to wash them off, and then I'm going to stick those cookies in the oven. I put them in my still pads. They're like silicone pads or your baking sheets so that they won't stick. I just honestly haven't done that yet. I probably will. So I just used some wax paper and a little bit of pan baking spray. I'm going to stick these in the oven and have them there for about, I'll look at them at 12 minutes in the middle at 335. Since it is a convection oven, I turn it down 15 degrees instead of 350, 335. If you have a regular oven, you would probably want it at 350. And I will check that in about 12 minutes and see how we are, and take them out, and I will let my taste tester let me know if they are good, and I will let you know as well. All right. Okay, so I have taken the breakfast banana oatmeal bars out of the oven. I actually baked them at 335 for 14 minutes. That seemed to be about the best. And so now I'm going to have my official taste tester taste them live. He's going to let us know how they are. So they're not loaded, just, you know, they don't have any sugar in them. This is all natural, you know, not processed foods. And so it's not going to taste exactly like a cookie. It's more like a breakfast bar, but it still has some sweetness of taste to it. If you want, you can add, I added 1/3 of a cup of, where are they? Where did I put them? I added 1/3 of a cup of fruit lilies. You might want to increase it to about 1/2 bag. That'll make it a little bit sweeter. So if you so desire, yeah, everybody has their different levels of how sweet they want something. So this made, let's see, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I would say about, I think I have about 20 little cookies. So anyhow, Alrighty, let's see how it goes. Hey, so we are here with Christian. He is going to be our official taste tester. And are you ready to taste the breakfast cookies?
Yes.
All right, let's see. And he's going to give us an honest opinion. You like them?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. All righty. Well, there you go. So hope you enjoy. And if you like, please like and subscribe. Have a great weekend. Bye.